The great state of Texas, is your turn. That's right. Texas now requires passing a written exam for you to become a notary. All right. So I've created a practice test for you. These are the top things that are most likely going to be on the test. I'm breaking it down for you. I've helped hundreds of people pass on the first try. Now it's going to be your turn. The first half is going to be true or false, the stuff you better know for that test. And once you know it, easy points. The second half, we're going to raise the level to multiple choice, which is most likely what the test will be like. All right. So let's dig in. Let me give you a little teaser from this. How about this? Do you know if you can notarize a relative's document as a notary in the great state of Texas? So can you notarize for a family member? Also, do you know what the penalty is if you don't take care of that journal? Do you even need a journal? Do you know these things? Don't sweat the details. You're going to learn it all from me. I'm going to help you pass the test on the first try. So let's get started. Number one, true or false? In Texas, a notary public has a statewide jurisdiction and can perform notarizations in all 254 counties. True or false? The answer is true. All right. So remember this. Your commission is a state license. You can work in Austin today, El Paso tomorrow. You can go to Houston when you go on vacation somewhere else and they need to author a notarization. You could do it there anywhere in the state of Texas once you pass everything. All right. Number two, true or false? A notary can notarize a signature if the person is appearing via standard FaceTime or Zoom call without a special online notary commission, like what's Iran. Without a special, do you need a special commission? The answer is false. Okay. Regular notaries, you usually need personal to meet in person, basically. To use a video, to notarize with a video, you need a special commission. Online notary public in Texas. Number three, true or false? You must record the expiration date of your signer's, your client's ID in your notary journal. You must record the expiration date of their ID in your notary journal. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Make sure you log that ID expiration date to stay compliant. All right. Last thing you want is those books to be checked, and that's not in there, out of compliance. Number four, you can give just a little legal advice if the signer is a close friend and doesn't understand the contract. Just a little. That's the easy layup. The answer is false. You can't do that. Unauthorized practice of law, even to friends, and you can lose your commission. So don't play around with that, right? True or false? Texas notary seal must contain the notary's commission expiration date. So your seal must contain your commission expiration date. That is true. Your stamp is your ID. All right. It has to show your powers. So when it runs out, the stamp is no longer valid. Quick emergency meeting. Listen, passing the test is step one. But if you want to make real money, I'm talking $75 to $200 per hour in your notary business. The secret is training. Being a general notary is fine, but specialized training is what's going to make you the real money. All right. So I'm not going to go into it now. I'm going to get back to the quiz. I just wanted you to know that. Stick with me to the end, and I'll share with you the training that I like, that I see the most people making the most money. All right. Number six. True or false, you are allowed to notarize a document for your spouse in Texas. Well, there's a big thing about conflict of interest. So we're going to say false on this one because it's highly discouraged to notarize for your spouse. Why? Because you might have beneficial interests. Since you share money, you might share property, you might with a spouse. Even if you don't share that, think that most people do, and it could be considered a conflict of interest. All right. For test sake. Number seven, true or false? The maximum fee you can charge in Texas for a single acknowledgement is $10. True or false? The answer is true. And the trick there is for a single acknowledgement. Now, if there are more signatures, you can start to charge more. But for a single, they might trick you with that. So be careful. The old answer was $6. Don't fall for that. It's now $10. True or false, you can use a digital signature to notarize a paper document. The digital signature to notarize a paper document, the answer is false. If you have a paper document, you have to have what's called a wet signature. All right. That means somebody has to literally sign it. Number 9, if you lose your journal, you must notify the Secretary of State. Now, on the test, it might give you things like you must notify your boss, notify the police, notify the Secretary of State. The answer to this is true. You must notify the Secretary of State. All right. The book is a legal record. So if it goes missing, you got to tell the state what happened. Number 10, true or false? A notary is required to verify the signer understands what they are signing. Do you have to verify that the signer understands what they are signing? And how do you verify that? Pretty much you just ask them, do you understand everything you're signing? Not that you're going to explain it, but the answer is true. They should understand what they're signing. There should be no coercion. They cannot be intoxicated, any of that stuff. They got to understand. All right, that was number 10. So we only have 5 more to go on the true and false. Then we upscale it up to the multiple choice. We go harder with the multiple choice. If you're still here, if you're still with me, let me know by knowing what city you're in Texas. I've been to Austin. I've been to Dallas. I've been to Houston. Those are the only places I've been. Where are you? Talk to me. Number 11, you can notarize a document that is already signed as long as the signer acknowledges the signature in front of you. Let me repeat that. You can notarize a document that is already signed as long as the signer acknowledges the signature in front of you. So the signer's there in front of you and acknowledges that signature. The answer is true. If it's an acknowledgement, they can sign it at home, bring it to you. Now they're there in front of you and they acknowledge, yes, that's my signature. And then you do the process. All right. Now let's go in the other direction. Number 12. For a jurat, true or false, the signer must sign the document in your presence. For a jurat, do they have to sign in your presence? The answer is true. For a jurat, they have to sign in your presence, unlike an acknowledgement. A jurat is where they swear an oath. So make sure you know what a jurat means for the test. And they must sign it in front of you. 13, true or false, you can charge a travel fee in addition to the $10 notary fee. True or false? Can you charge a travel fee? The answer is true. True. But most of the states I've seen, you must agree on that fee before you leave and go to the appointment. It must be agreed in advance is the whole point. Number 14, a notary can be fined or lose their commission for failing to provide a receipt for the fees charged. The answer is true. That's not everywhere, but in Texas, if a client asks for a receipt, you have to give them one. It's part of being a professional. Number 15, if you change your name, let's say you get married, etc., you can keep using your own stamp until it expires if you've changed your name. Answer, true or false? Answer is false. If you change your name, you need to file a name change with the state. Okay, and get a new stamp that matches your legal name. All right, you are official. All right, so that was number 15. I hope you're doing so far so good. If you tell me how many you got right, how many you got wrong in the comments, and we're going to keep clicking. And at the end, remember, I'm going to tell you how to make the most money, get the training to make the most money as a notary. Number 16, multiple choice. What is the minimum age to be a Texas notary? The minimum age, is it A, 16, B, 18, C, 21? The minimum age in Texas is the same as the minimum age in California. B, 18. You must be at least 18 years old. Number 17. Which of these is a required element of the Texas Notary Seal? Which of these are required for the Texas Notary Seal? 1, Remember the seal? 1A, the notary social security number needs to be on there. B, the words Notary Public State of Texas should be on there. C, the notary's home address should be on there. Which has to be on there? It would be B. The state and your title are legally required. So it would be B, the words Notary Public, State of Texas. Number 18, how much is a surety bond? How much is the surety bond you must purchase to become a notary? That's a big clue for the test. This tells you if you're tested and it says, do you need a surety bond? Of course, the answer is yes. And then they're going to ask you, they might ask you how much that surety bond has to be, which we're going to go over right now. Does it need to be $5,000 in Texas, $10,000, or $15,000? The answer is B. The surety bond in Texas must be $10,000 as of the time of this video. If a signer provides a credible witness to provide their identity, that witness must. If a signer provides a credible witness to prove their identity, that witness must A, be a relative of the notary, B, be personally known by the notary, C, be a government employee. The answer is the notary must personally know the witness to vouch for the signer. All right? They must know the witness to vouch for the signer. Number 20, what is the maximum fee for each additional signature on a document? This is something I just learned for you guys in Texas. So remember, the first signature was $10. Remember that for the test. Now, how much can you charge for each signature on that same document? Is it A, $1, B, $5, C, $10? All right. The answer is, we already talked about $10 for the first signature, $1 for each additional signature on the same certificate. Remember that. Also, if I were you, I would get the Texas Notary Handbook. If I found it for you, I'll provide the link in the description. All right. If I found it, because I want to make this easy for you. I don't want you to have to do too much work. I just want you to learn, not research. All right. Number 21, a notary's duty of care means they must. A notary's duty of care means they must. A, charge the highest possible price. Woo! B, exercise reasonable care to prevent fraud. C, notarize for anyone who asks, even without ID. Notary's duty of care must be exercise reasonable care to prevent fraud. Your main job is a fraud fighter. That's why you're getting all this IDs and all this stuff and making sure credible witnesses, making sure the person is who they say they are to prevent fraud, making sure there's no coercion. So know that for the test. Your biggest mission is to prevent fraud. All right. Not to make as much money as possible, but prevent fraud as often as possible so you can make as much money as possible. Let's say it that way. 22. How many days do you have to notify the Secretary of State of an address change? If you're changing your address, how many days do you have that you can wait to notify them? Is it A, 10 days, B, 30 days, C, 60 days? 10 days, 30 days, 60 days. I know in my brain, I would think 30 days. But in my research, I found Texas moves fast. You only have 10 days to update your info. So that means you go on the Secretary of State website when you're changing, pow, and do it that quick, fast, in a hurry, right? I hope that's how you can update it. That's my guess. 23, which of the following can a Texas notary not do? Which can you not do? See how they flipped it? Not what you can do, but what you cannot do. 1, take an acknowledgement. So 1, the notary cannot take an acknowledgement. B, the notary cannot certify a copy of a passport. C, the notary cannot issue a marriage license. The answer is C. Notaries in Texas have no authority regarding marriage. So C, you cannot issue a marriage license. Yes, you can take an acknowledgement. Yes, you can certify a copy of a passport, but you cannot do any marriage stuff. Okay, we're on 24, so we're almost at 30. I hope you're still here. If you're still here, put 24 in there and I'll know exactly what you mean. 24, if you are asked to notarize for a person who only speaks Spanish, Espanol, but you only speak English, you can A, use a translator. B, you must refuse unless you are fluent in Spanish. C, you can just point to where they should sign. A, translator. B, refuse. C, point to where they should sign. The answer is B. In Texas, you must be able to communicate directly with the signer in a language you both understand without a third party. That's a little different than some other states. So B, you must refuse unless you are fluent in Spanish. That's as of now. Maybe things might change. 25, can you withhold a notarization? 25, when can you withhold a notarization? Basically, when can you refuse? If the signer refuses to pay the fee. B, if you don't like the signer's political views. Ooh, that's a hot topic. C, if the document is printed on blue paper. That would be weird to print on blue paper, but which one? What's the situation when you can withhold a notarization? The answer is A. You are a public officer, but you are entitled to your state mandated fee at the time of service. If the person says, I'm not going to pay you, you can refuse to do notarization, right? All right. If you don't believe their political views, you can't review. You're not supposed to refuse. If you don't like the color of the paper, you're not supposed to refuse. That's funny, right? That was number 25. Number 26, the venue quotation on a notary certificate lists where the notary lives. The venue lists, so know what the venue is. B, the notarization is where the notarization is physically taking place. C, where the document was created. I'll repeat that. The venue on a notary certificate lists A, where the notary lives, or B, where the notarization actually took place, or C, where the document was created. The answer is B, where it took place. It's always going to start with state of Texas, county of wherever you are. Okay? All right. Count down. 3 más. 27. Which of the following IDs is acceptable in 2026 right now at the time of this recording? Which ID is acceptable? A, an expired Texas driver's license that expired 5 years ago. B, a current U.S. passport. C, a library card with a photo. Okay, which one is okay? The answer is B. ID must be current and government issued with a photo and a signature. So if it's a driver's license, or it could be B, a passport, not a library card, not an expired driver's license. 28, if a notary is convicted of a felony while commissioned, remember, you can't even become a notary if you have a felony. Remember that for the test. So this one is asking if you commit a felony while you are commissioned. A, they can keep the stamp until you can keep your stamp until it expires. B, your commission is subject to revocation, cancellation. You're done. C, you just have to pay a fine. The answer is, of course, B. Notaries must be in good standing, good moral character. Felonies is grounds for losing your license. It's not guaranteed, but it is grounds for doing it. They can't revoke you at that point, right? 29. What color ink should a Texas notary use for their signature? A, only red ink. B, any color, but black is the best for photocopies. C, pencil is fine. So if that was a strategy I want to tell you guys about. It's called test taking process of elimination. So if I looked at this and I wasn't sure, I would first know C is not it. Pencil is not fine for any documents because it could be erased later, right? So we know C is not it. So the only choices are A and B, red only or any color. So I would go with B, Any color but black or blue, best for photocopies. This says Texas doesn't mandate a color signature, but it must be reproducible. Black is the standard. 30. Then I have a secret to tell you. Who owns the notary journal? Who owns the notary journal? Is it A, your employer? B, you the notary? C, the Secretary of State? A, your employer, if you work for somebody. B, the notary. Or C, the Secretary of State? The answer is B. Even if your boss paid for it, that journal belongs to you. It's your license on the line. So you take it when you leave. Here's a big example on that last one. Better let this sink in, because I remember this type of question. Not giving out the exact question, but this type of question on the test. All right. What if you work for a company and you are responsible for notaries? There's another notary sitting over there. So when people come in to do business, you guys are the staff notaries, right? You go to lunch. Okay. You put your notary journal in your drawer, but you don't lock it. You go on off to lunch. The other person, somebody comes in and says, hey, I need a notarization. Oh, yeah, our notary's at lunch, but I can do it for you. I know where their journal is. They go in your drawer and they do the process and they do it wrong, or they lose it, or whatever happens. Who is now responsible for the problem? Is it that person that snuck in your drawer and did the transaction? Is it your boss, or is it you? The answer would be it is you, because you are responsible. You needed to lock that drawer. Woo! Remember that for the test. All right. What else can I tell you? Oh, yeah, I owed you guys a secret. All right. If you finished, put 100,000 in the comments section. 100,000, because that's the kind of money I see you guys making if you really, really, really dig in and get your training, the training that you need. All right. Now, this is the system that I've seen people make the most money. It's called the loan signing system, LSS. That guy really trains people to make money from beginning to end, how to market yourself, how to network. I put the link in the description. Take a look. I think they have free and paid training. I mean, they have training, they have Facebook groups, they have special events, they have big events where people get together. Hey, people are making money by going through the loan signing system, so I put the list in there. And lastly, the thing I want to tell you, remember in 2026, because things are changing, these are the steps you need to become a notary in the state of Texas. I just want to add this to you. People who left are going to miss this. 1, meet the state requirements of age 18, no felonies, and you have to be a resident of Texas. All right. 2, submit your application to who? The Secretary of State. 3, what is the fee? It's cheap out there, only $21. 4, you need a bond. Remember what we said on the test? $10,000 surety bond. 5, pass the mandated state exam that I'm going to help you pass on the first try. And 6, purchase your seal and your journal. These are the things you're going to need for your small business as a notary. Lastly, I'm creating a video with the vocabulary words you better know for your test, like jurat and acknowledgement and bond. I'm going to do that for you next. So look out for that one. Okay. This is Mr. Rogers. I believe in you. I believe you can get this done, and I'll see you in the next video. Go Texas.